What if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? Not whether these beings exist, but why they appear at all, and what seems to happen every time they do. Today, we argue about proof. Ancient people didn't. They were far more concerned with consequences than evidence. We call them extraterrestrials now, but long before modern science, people used very different names for the same encounters. Demons, watchers, gods, spirits, different cultures, different words, but eerily similar experiences. In our time, aliens are often imagined as advanced visitors from the stars, curious explorers, maybe even helpers. That image didn't come from ancient history. It came from modern technology, movies, and imagination. Ancient people didn't see these encounters as exciting or hopeful. When these beings appeared, the reaction was almost always fear, raw, immediate, and overwhelming. Fear wasn't confusion. It was recognition that something powerful had arrived. Ancient texts describe sudden appearances as if these beings crossed into our world without warning. They radiated authority, not friendliness. Presence, not curiosity. People didn't walk toward them. They froze. They fell silent. They hid. These beings didn't ask permission to be there. They didn't explain who they were or where they came from. They intervened directly in human lives and decisions. They influenced behavior, beliefs, and entire cultures. They left marks on history that people struggled to explain. The Bible refers to some of these beings as watchers, figures who observed, but also interfered. Others are described as fallen beings, associated with corruption and disorder. What's striking is that these beings are never described as neutral. Where they appear, forbidden knowledge soon follows. And not long after, corruption begins to spread. Stories of unnatural unions and hybrids appear across many cultures. These stories are separated by oceans, yet they echo each other. Centuries passed, but reports of encounters never fully disappeared. What changed wasn't the phenomenon, it was how we explained it. Lights in the sky slowly became spacecraft. Strange beings became visitors from other planets. Spiritual authority was rebranded as advanced intelligence, but the experience itself stayed remarkably consistent. People still report paralysis, missing time, and overwhelming fear. Modern encounters sound uncomfortably similar to ancient ones. Different words, same pattern. Technology helps explain how these encounters might occur, but it struggles to explain why they feel so personal and so intrusive. At some point, the question changes. It's no longer just what are these beings? It becomes, what do they want with us? Because things that keep showing up usually have a reason, and patterns like this don't happen by accident. Ancient people seem to understand that. They didn't talk about these encounters like puzzles to solve. They talked about them like forces you had to reckon. The concern wasn't where they came from. It was what they brought with them. Did they pull people toward wisdom or toward power without restraint? Toward order or toward something that slowly unravels it? That's why the old texts don't spend much time asking if these beings are real. They ask something else instead. Which side are they on? And what happens to us when we listen?